Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Moments. Today we have something you just can't scroll past. Imagine this. Several fans reported seeing Jimin walking with Namjoon on the streets of Seoul. Sounds simple enough, right? But hold on. The story becomes much more interesting when we find out that the person who first reported it actually ran into Seokjin first, and only later saw Jimin and Namjoon shortly afterward. Coincidence? Or is there something bigger happening behind all of this? And this is where everything starts to feel like pieces of a puzzle, about the shifting dynamics among BTS members, especially when we connect it to the story of Jikook. A little update about our Jimin. Some fans reported seeing him walking with Namjoon in Seoul. For some, this might just be a casual meeting, a moment between two BTS members who are already like family. But the way this information surfaced makes it far more intriguing. According to reports, the person who first shared the story, the OP, had actually bumped into Seokjin first, and only afterwards saw Jimin and Namjoon together. Coincidences like this are hard to ignore, especially considering that Jimin, Namjoon, and Seokjin have been spotted spending time together more often lately. From there, a deeper question arises. Were they actually together from the start, or was it just a coincidence that they ended up in the same place? What makes this even more fascinating is how this simple event feels like part of something bigger, a shift in dynamics among the members that is becoming increasingly noticeable to the public. Especially if we highlight the relationships and interactions surrounding Jikook. For years, fans have been used to seeing how Jimin and Jungkook interact with each other, full of intimacy, with subtle gestures that seem to be understood only by the two of them. But recently, something feels a little different. Not that their chemistry has disappeared, on the contrary, it's still there. It's just that, as time passes, other interactions have started to stand out more. And here's the question. Is this coincidence, strategy, or a hidden message? Let's start with Namjoon. If you pay attention, his interactions with Jimin have suddenly become more visible. The pattern feels familiar, reminding us of the time when Taehyung frequently displayed his closeness with Jimin publicly. But now, it seems Namjoon has stepped into that role. Over the past few months, he has regularly shared photos with Jimin on Instagram, something he hadn't done so often before. Of course, as the leader, Namjoon has always been close with all members. But the consistency of his moments with Jimin lately seems deliberate, as if there's a message being highlighted. On the other hand, Taehyung has also been seen spending more time with Jungkook. Interestingly, most of these interactions are initiated by Taehyung himself. From small gestures to moments at public events, the pattern feels like Taehyung is creating a visual narrative, that he and Jungkook share a closeness worth noticing. This isn't new, but the intensity feels different recently. When we put these together, a pattern emerges that's hard to ignore. Jimin with Namjoon, Jungkook with Taehyung. Two pairs of interactions appearing almost simultaneously, giving the impression that something is being communicated to the public. But the most intriguing part is privacy. For years, BTS has been known for strictly protecting their personal lives. Members' time together outside of official schedules was often kept private. Yet now, the line seems to be shifting. Jimin and Namjoon no longer try to avoid being seen when walking together in Seoul. The same goes for Taehyung and Jungkook. They allow themselves to be seen, sometimes almost as if they're letting it be recorded on purpose. Is this just coincidence? Or is it a shift in attitude, from being extremely private to becoming more open? This question becomes even stronger when we recall Jungkook's words during a live with Jimin. He openly admitted that sometimes, for him, it feels better if it's just the two of them. A simple statement, but in the context of their relationship, it was almost a confession that there's a personal space he shares only with Jimin. Interestingly, after that, the public was presented with a series of more balanced member interactions. Almost as if there was an effort to show that closeness wasn't only about Jimin and Jungkook, but belonged to all members. Is this management strategy? Or coincidence? It's hard to say, but the timing feels too perfect to be just random. Still, no matter how fascinating these new patterns are to analyze, fans' hearts always return to one thing: Jikook. Because no matter how many new interactions surface, the chemistry between Jimin and Jungkook has a unique quality that simply cannot be replaced. There's something in the way they look at each other, search for each other even in a crowd, and communicate without words. That's not just ordinary closeness. It's body language, a kind of secret language only the two of them understand. One of the most iconic moments still widely discussed is when Jungkook approached Jimin from behind in front of many people and wrapped his arms around him. Instead of a casual touch, he chose to bite Jimin's ear. This is clearly not something friends usually do. There was intimacy there, a sense of tender ownership. Looking at it objectively, it's hard to classify it as just friendly behavior. What makes it even more significant is the fact that Jungkook has never done anything like that with other members. Sure, he's close with all of them, but the kind of physical affection that's both gentle and spontaneous, he shows only to Jimin. That exclusivity is why so many fans believe there's something deeper between them. Another famous moment is when Jimin left a mark on Jungkook's neck. Officially described as playful while they were drinking together, but the result looked more like a love bite. Jungkook didn't even try to hide it. Instead, he let it be seen, almost proudly. And the most surprising part was Jungkook's reaction when other members tried to touch his neck. When Jin tried, Jungkook pulled away. But when Jimin did, he allowed it, even seemed to enjoy it. This sharp contrast clearly showed that only Jimin had full access to Jungkook's personal space. That story sparked endless discussion. Was it really just playful? Or was there something more personal behind it? The fact that Jungkook himself casually shared the story only deepened the mystery. As if he wanted us to know, but would never say it outright. From here, a pattern emerges, a silent language they continually use to communicate. From small touches, long stares, to vague confessions. All of it forms a story never spoken, but always felt. And perhaps, that's exactly where the strength of Jikook lies. They don't need to state anything explicitly. Everything is already communicated through their actions. For some, maybe it's all coincidence. But for those who believe, every detail is a piece of a puzzle that makes the bigger picture clearer. Their relationship goes beyond friendship. In the end, this isn't just about simple interactions on the streets of Seoul or Instagram posts. It's about how the dynamics of a group full of love and brotherhood still leave a special space for two people who seem connected in a more intimate, more personal, and deeper way. And for fans, every moment, no matter how small, will always become material for reflection, hope, and endless curiosity. So, are these moments mere coincidences? Or part of a bigger narrative about how the members' relationships are being shown to the public? One thing is certain, no matter how many new patterns appear, Jimin and Jungkook's chemistry always holds a special, irreplaceable place. So, what do you think? Is this strategy a hidden message, or just ordinary interactions? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss more exciting Jikook updates. See you in the next video, Army.